All right, hello everyone. It's been a while since I put up a video. I just got these nice leather gloves ordered through Purple Heart Armory. I'm going to be putting up a review about these gloves along with 3 other leather gloves I have all in one video very soon. Basically, it'll be sort of like a different stage of leather glove review. This is going to eventually become probably my dedicated side sword glove once I modify these SPES fingertips, and that's what this video is about. So with those gloves, I ordered along the fingertips. I've never ordered them before. They're actually much stronger and more robust than I actually thought they would be. I've seen them in other people's gloves before, but I've never taken a close look at them. So I'm going to have to modify these, and that's what this video is about. I didn't realize they'd actually be so long on the finger. And when you stick these inside the gloves, it does restrict this smaller knuckle movement enough that I don't like it. So I'm going to be modifying them, either cutting them short, because I only actually want it to protect my fingertips. So I'll either be cutting them short, or I'll cut out a sort of a half circle here just to allow that knuckle to move a bit, and then maybe shave this down here and then sand them nice and soft with soft corners in order to modify this to give me the movement I want on these. So that's all this video is about. So stay tuned. I'll show some video of myself making them, and then I'll put a conclusion at the end on the final product. So all I'm using is 2 things. I'm using just this sanding stone to take away the edges, and it's polishing it up pretty smooth. And I'm using just one of the sandpaper cutting discs. It's one of the harder ones, and it's cutting through like butter, so it's actually pretty easy. All right, now I'll be cutting in down here, basically angling this part here. If you can see that, so it goes down probably to there. So here we are, just as a shot of Now I still have my fingertip protection, knuckle movement, and you can still see down the side of the finger I still get this protection. I'm experimenting on how thin I want to make it, and I want to try to make sure it doesn't stick up past this part of the finger in the glove. So I've got a little bit more to take off on this one side. This side's getting there. I think I just need to round it a little bit and smooth that out. But the Dremel is actually doing a really good job on making it really smooth. There's no sharp edges. There's no nothing. I thought I was going to have to take some sandpaper to it, but I may not actually have to do that. It's pretty soft. So I'm just going to refine this one a little bit. I think this is the width I want to have, and then maybe just round this tip off just a little bit more, match this one up, and then that should be the first stage done. All right, here I am. I've now got that little modified cap in there. It's my first one, and I already have more of an ability to make a fist with it. It's quite nice now. It's exactly the way I want it. Most of what I'm doing here may not be someone else's preference. I guess I should really mention that. But now, where the knuckle is right here, this little knuckle, there's no restriction. I can now get into a full actual fist without anything wanting to push against the top part of the glove right here. I still have the fingertip protection, which for side sword is going to be enough. And carrying on with when you saw in the spliced in video, by keeping a little bit going along the side here, it does add a little bit of protection on the side of the fingers as well. And if you get a blow that will roll on the fingers, it'll actually help protect the sides. So once again, this is for side sword. It's not for long sword. It's to keep my fingers as mobile as possible with keeping my fingertips protected. And so far it looks like I'm achieving that. So I'll carry on, splice in some more footage and do a conclusion. Okay, all right, so I've got one more finger in. I think on this one, I'm gonna actually modify the inside a little bit more and get rid of, it goes to about here, and it doesn't seem necessary, and I can feel it rub up against the other finger, and I can tell with another one there, they'll probably rub up against each other. So I can foresee myself taking off a little bit more on the inside. This side seems to be fine. Okay, so I've been working on the thumb piece. I trimmed it down a little bit here. I'm gonna have to trim these down a little bit because that goes quite a bit past the thumb, more than I actually need. So once again, getting these things in is really easy. Now, you'll notice the thumb was designed in a point. That is making the thumb piece a little bit tight to get in. Once you do get it in, though, to where you want it, you'll see how it kind of splays that out a bit. So I might actually grind this down a little bit because I don't quite need it to be that thick for the thumb. But once I get it in to approximately where we want it, like so, I seem to be pretty good. So I think what I'm going to do is, yeah, I might trim these down a little bit. That's coming down like 3/4 of the way down the thumb piece here. That's a bit excessive, so I'll probably trim that down a little bit, which might make it, and then trim this piece down a little bit here, which might make it get in there a little bit better. But right now it feels pretty good, so I think I'm going to try just grabbing a sword now, and that's where I can draw some conclusions. The fingers feel really good. I can get full articulation of the fingers, and I can hold the sword pretty much however I want to grip it. The thumb piece, like I said, I think it needs a little bit more refinement, maybe a little bit of a trim, just so it fits in here better. But the knuckle movement is enough for what you need for the sword. I can actually wrap my thumb around my fingers if I really wanted to. Not that that's how you grip a sword, but just saying I can get into pretty much a full fist grip with the sword. And then how I like to hold my sword, nice and lightly in the hand, a little bit of a grip like that. as you can see, I can now wrap this finger, which was a little bit difficult before I trimmed it, to actually wrap it down on the handle of the sword, which is no problem now. There's no binding or anything there. The tip of my finger, most importantly, is down on the sword, which is what we want. And this finger, if needed, can wrap around the sword, and it's not getting any more restriction there. And so once again, this is a long sword handle, but I'm just using this for demonstration purposes, that the fingertips now seem to have really good mobility. And once this glove actually gets worked in, because this is brand new, so the leather is a little stiff, but once this glove really gets worked in, I think this modification to the SPES Finger tips is exactly what I wanted. Once again, it's all sort of relative to what a person likes and what sort of mobility a person needs. But for me, I've now increased the mobility of the gloves, and that's what I really wanted. So if you need to do something like this on your glove, it was really easy. That Dremel tool, you could probably actually use sandpaper and do it by hand with a file. It would take you a little bit longer, but you don't necessarily have to have that tool. If you have an adapter kit that can go on a drill, that would work too, but keep in mind the drill is going to be bulky and it doesn't have speed, so once again, it wouldn't be the best tool in the world. But there are multiple ways you can use to sand that down, to cut that stuff. Heck, you could even melt it if you needed to. But that's it so far. So like I said, I'll have an actual review of these gloves coming soon. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more stuff. Have a good day or evening.